Oh, it never really ceases to amaze me that how bad and poorly run high school athletics can be. Especially when you have multitudes of people letting you know that a local high school coach is doing some bad stuff. In case you missed it, we'll lead off with this tonight. But Nicholas Selfo, the Walker head baseball coach, he's been a bad boy. He more than that, my man going to jail. You going to jail. He's in jail. I don't know if he's bonded out or not. I'm going to go on a rant for a completely different situation other than, in case you missed it, the theft. We'll talk about that here tonight. But I know what you're really here for. You're here to talk some LSU and the defensive line transfer portal. We will get to that. I know a lot of you are panicking. Got in a conversation today with someone who follows us in reference to this could be a Ruffino's rants too. We got to stop justifying things as LSU fans. If something doesn't go our way, we over-justify things, and I think the defensive tackle can be one of them. You want playmakers at every single position on the entire football field no matter what. We'll talk about what's going on with the portal. Stop justifying things, and I told you this was going to be tough. If you listened to us a month ago, we talked about the portal religiously and told you how difficult it was going to be when it came to getting interior defensive linemen. Everybody wants them. It's like the hot blonde at the end of the bar drinking a Shirley Temple. I don't even know if Shirley Temples are a thing anymore, but a vodka and cranberry. I don't know. However, everybody needs interior defensive linemen. We'll talk about that here tonight as well. We got to preview the Texas A&M baseball series. We will do that. The number one team in the country comes to LSU. Jim Schlossnagle with some really choice words this week. Live production inside of a SEC team's dugout. Jay Johnson spoke with the media today and gave an address of that. He also talked about something that he doesn't like. So I feel pretty confident Jay Johnson was not the guy that had the live production. Arkansas, that had it in their dugout. So we'll touch on that as well. And at the end of the show, questions, thoughts, concerns, hashtag Ask Blake. You can ask them throughout the show as well. Let's get to it. We got a lot of comments pouring in here. Todd Davis says $30K accused of. Yes. So listen, actually, I'm gonna wait. But yes, we'll get to that. The LHSA has known about this kind of stuff that's been going on, and they didn't seem to want to do it. Ninja on YouTube says, you know what time it is. Let's get this thing rolling, y'all. That indeed. Thank you for being here. Again, fantastic avatar that you have in your profile, with it being gotta catch them all, Pokemon head ass. I'm not gonna lie. Can I tell y'all the truth? Y'all gonna think I'm a nerd. I used to come home and watch Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon before football practice every day in middle school. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and I can't even remember the lead characters' names. That's horrible. Fat Boy Slim. Oh, and by the way, Doug Funny. Hey, Arnold. Yeah, but Nickelodeon's going through it right now, so I'm going to stay out of that one. Fat Boy Slim says, guess our defense will be horrible again. Anywho, let's go. I don't know if they'll be horrible. We will, and I have it inside of the description here. I'll talk a little bit of defensive semantics, or not semantics, but schematics tonight, because listen, the world doesn't come to an end whether you do good or do bad in the portal. I have my opinion on it, but there are remedies against it, we'll got to talk about it. And it's what they got to do. They can't go down the 4-down lineman every play. If you you're not going to be able to. So we'll talk on that. And we just need to hope that guys like Jacoby and Guillory can hold the 4th down in the middle. You need very experienced linebacker play. And Greg Penn is going to be a 3-year starter. Is he the Damone Clark of the Blake Baker year in 2021? David Woodard says, has Williams verbally said that he is committed to OU? He is not. Are we just hearing the scoop that they pulling out the bag? All right, how do I want to address this? I will address it here. No, he is not, at least to my knowledge, committed anywhere. Neither has Simeon Barrow. But let me tell you what I think is going on very quickly. I do think that Barrow it might take a trip to Florida State. We'll wait and see on that. I do feel, however, that you know how in the NFL when players hold out to like we're waiting for Lamar to get a contract, so then it's like then I'm going to get a higher contract than him. I think they're playing some games here. I think both of these guys, agents, handlers, whatever you want to call them, they are playing a little bit of a game. I don't think it's completely over. Now, we still got a little time to go. I keep calling him Dominic. Demonic Williams could commit at any moment. I don't know. Last I heard, it just wasn't looking great for LSU. Doesn't mean Bo Davis has stopped recruiting. I told you from the beginning, I'm not going to blame Bo Davis solely. This has to be an entire defensive effort. And I told you that last week. I told you that 2 weeks ago. I beg you to come and pull up the clips. You know what I'm going to start doing? I've made up my mind. I'm going to start pulling clips from shows that we have done from the following week of us saying, hey, guys, this is how I think it's going to go. And when it goes that way, I'm live on the show, which we are live. I had somebody accuse me that we weren't live the other night. I am going to play. I'm going to be here live, and then I am going to play the clip from the week before and say, hey, guys, isn't this how we told you it was going to play out? Well, Blake, we heard this from this guy. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. Guys, things repeat themselves in recruiting sometimes. You got to be aware of the situation. You got to listen to people. We do a national college show. We hear from Oklahoma people. We hear from Miami people. Everybody needed interior defensive tackles. So did Texas. So, again, I'm just going to start clipping these things and putting them on here. I've made up my mind. Okay. Whew. Couple more, then we'll get rolling. Probably a panda on YouTube says Nick Selfo was my high school coach. What he did. Oh boy, you're not gonna like this. And let me tell you this: the theft. So I'm gonna get to it after the break. Stay with us, because I got a lot I got to get into with that because it's a whole other thing that wasn't even reported on. Should tell you. Reporters that try to report sports, if you're just a basic reporter and you're not in sports, leave it up to the big dogs, please. Leave it to the big dogs. All right, let's get rolling. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share to all those groups. If you're on Facebook, you're watching us, listening to us on YouTube, like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you are listening to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. Let's talk about our good friends over at J&J Exterminating, our good friends over at betonline.ag, and our good friend Tyler Alexander over at LPT Realty. Transfer portal talk, baseball talk. It's time, y'all. It's Thursday. You know what it is. Let's get to it. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events, with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah. We're back.
All right. Let's get this thing started, y'all. All right. So I got to go on a very, very quick tangent. Stay with me, because about this time every year, about 2 weeks ago, it was the Catholic stuff. Remember when they had their high school state championships revoked in football because they were doing some very illegal stuff that just so happened to get swept under the rug. Nevertheless, about this time every year, it's crazy how I will come up and me and you will talk about local high school sports, which we don't do often enough, which we should, but we don't. And I say the LHSAs ran at a horrible rate. Sometimes they don't take complaints seriously enough. They don't want egg on their face. And it winds up hurting high school sports. I think that, the classifications, not making them all one, personally, I think it's dumb. It is what it is. You should let everybody recruit. If you let private schools do it, let public schools do it. What does it matter? That's neither here nor there. But the LHSAA really screwed up this time. In case you missed it, Walker head baseball coach Nicholas Selfo got himself in a little bit of trouble today as the Walker High School I'm assuming administrators got together in reference to a missing total of $29,360.21 of missing inventory. Now, Walker, or the administrators of Walker High School, contacted all the alleged vendors that Nicholas Selfo had been purchasing stuff from, and all of them were fake. Okay. So you have a local high school coach that fabricated $30,000 worth of gear or materials or bats or balls, whatever, and none of it was true. So he was pocketing all the cash. Nevertheless, that's not even the issue that I want to address. Now, I will address this. This is as stupid as it comes. As stupid as it comes. Did you really think that you were going to be at a high school and that the school doesn't get audited? You don't think people would just all of a sudden see that if you ordered this and this and this and this and those things weren't there? You don't think people would realize that? That's not the worst part. Let me tell you what the worst part of Nicholas Selfo that I know for a fact, because I had about 5 head baseball coaches locally today reach out to me and say the following. when Nick Selfo got arrested, clearly also got fired, was that Selfo had been doing some other crazy things as well. No, anything sexual, or wasn't doing anything with kids, nothing like that. But he was making up fake Google numbers and reaching out to a potential opponents. So let me paint this scenario very quickly. Nick Selfo would get a fake number and say that, hey, this is the coach from XX school. Okay. Can you give me a scouting report on a fake school, like another school? And he would contact an opponent and say, hey, coach, I'm so-and-so, and it was all fake. He would use another coach's name and then get scouting reports, and then in turn give scouting reports about Walker that were completely fabricated. What do I mean? He was cheating. He was giving false reports and false scouting reports to other potential head coaches that he was going to play in the future so that he would have an advantage. Now, Blake, well, that's a part of the game. Using a fake number, and there are unwritten rules in high school athletics. Acting like you're someone that you're not to get out a fake scouting report so that you can win a game is completely insane to me. I was told that of the 5 wins that he had this year, of the 5 wins that he had, it came off of fake scouting reports because he was saying, hey, I'm a coach at X and X school. You played, I don't know, Rudy Putek last week. Coach, what can you tell me about him? Well, X, and X. He goes, well, coach, I just played Walker. Here's their scouting report. Completely fabricated. Here's where the Rufino's rants comes in. The LHSAA knew. The LHSAA knew during the season that this was happening. From multiple teams that he played, and they didn't do anything. It goes in another line of yet another year around summertime when shit starts breaking out that high school athletics in this state has egg on their face because you have a coach doing something absolutely stupid. You remember the Catholic thing a couple of years ago. And they really don't do much. Oh, well, we took Catholic state titles away, but you didn't investigate everything that you were told that was going on. Now, what I had been told around Walker today after I made a couple of phone calls around that place was that, and I don't mind Walker. I have nothing ill against Walker whatsoever. I go to it. I live by it. I mean, I have nothing against Walker whatsoever. I know a lot of really good people from Walker. The absolutely crazy thing for me is that some of them knew that this was going on and they continued to allow it until it got too much. Here's the problem with cheating in baseball and any sport in Louisiana high school athletics. Louisiana, not like every state, only like this state really, goes off of power rankings. And since it goes off of power rankings, when it's time to go to the playoffs and you have a loss against a team that maybe you shouldn't have had a loss to, it could boost you down. It's interesting because a team could host home playoff games, but since they lost to Walker, they're going to have to go on the road in week 1 and round 1. So yet again, more kids get cheated out. I've been reached out to a couple of you. One person was in here earlier that you play for Coach Nick Selfo. I don't know the gentleman. I wish him well in the rest of his life. It's unfortunate what he did. You can't do stuff like that. And that's why a lot of people don't trust high school coaches. I will tell you, it's why I, as a business, when we talk about recruiting, I don't talk to a lot of head coaches. Not anymore. Because some of them are extremely slimy. Some of them are exceptionally great. But I never meet somebody in the middle. Be careful who you let coach your kids, man. Be involved in your children's athletics. Be involved in your child's life. Because if you're not there for their baseball games, they could be in a very bad situation and you're allowing them to be there. Some of you bitch, moan, and complain about little Timmy not playing more than he is. Well, little Timmy is 5'9", 285 pounds, and literally needs his inhaler when he gets to first base. No disrespect to anybody that needs an inhaler. But if little Tommy or little Timmy, whichever one of their fat asses is running down the first base and is huffing and puffing, needing a Krispy Kreme donut, your son's not going to play at the next level. So when they have this time, and I'm making a joke because nobody has a kid that's 5'8", 280, who's named Little Timmy running down the first base. It's not happening. So I'm making up an alleged story. Don't get on my ass about it. You got to be involved, man. And it's a shame that the LHSAA, again, continues to have egg on their face. They need. I called for this for 5 years now. They need a leadership change. They're not going to get it. I know that it rubs a lot of people the wrong way, but how many times do you hear stories about situations going on in high school athletics in this state that you know that the LHSAA knows about and they haven't done anything? The only reason that they did anything to Catholic was because you had really, really talented local reporters all over it, because the high school state champion, the head coach, up and disappeared and went to college and is in the scouting department, in the recruiting department. That is unheard of at the position that he's in. So I will continue to tell you, be careful who you let coach your kids. I have no disdain towards Walker High School. None. But when I talk to 5 coaches today, who, by the way, I don't reach out to. Like when the story came out, okay, I was like 52 minutes behind. I had heard this going on, but it didn't register to me. So I have 5 different head baseball coaches all across the state at all different places saying, yeah, we played Walker, and dude, you want to hear a crazy story? All of them laid out what I just laid out to you. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Also, and the last thing that I'm going to say on this, because we got to talk about some LSU stuff here. I know that you're not here. There's 892 of you right now that's listening to us live. I know that all 892 of you here are not here to talk about Louisiana high school football or baseball. But there's got to be a change. And I've said it, and there's not enough outcry, right? If you rise up, things can change. All right. Let's get moving. Oh, by the way, everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. I just got to see, coach is texting me out of the blue. I look at the iPhone here, and I got random coaches texting me throughout the show. One of them told you. Another one says, I can't read the other one, but it has something to say about little Timmy and a fungo. I appreciate you watching. All right. Woo! You know, it's funny because the last 2 episodes we talked about Deion, and then we come in here and we talk about local high school coaches, both of them who are being asinine stupid. All right. Let's get moving. I know, and you know, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me restart this segment because I know the team's going to clip it here, and I can't be laughing when we do this. All right. I know, and well, I guess you know because you're watching this live or you're watching this segment. You and I have been having conversations probably over the last 3 weeks here in reference to the transfer portal and what LSU needed. It's not anything new. It's not something that you and I have really just hold punches on. It's that interior defensive line and how bad they have been this spring and the big concern there. Now, if you don't want to just take my words for it, well, you could take Brian Kelly's words for it because in his last press conference, he said the only thing, and I'm quoting here, the only thing that we're focusing on in the transfer portal is that interior of the defensive line. Even though I told you that was bullshit too, because they are going after a corner now. That's neither here nor there. There has been some concern in reference to Simeon Barrow, the interior defensive transfer portal guy from Michigan State, and Demonic Williams from TCU. Guys, we talked about, I thought that you would only get one of the big four. I didn't say it would be the only defensive tackles that you got, but I thought it'd be one of the big four. It's not over yet. And I do think that in the transfer portal world, I do really believe anything can happen. And not only that, I do think that until things are finalized and a guy is in a situation and at a situation, guys, we've seen guys pop right back out of the portal and go somewhere else. I've given you my thoughts on what I believe would happen if you didn't get any. Let's dive into that in more because that has been the conversation. Blake, what do you do if you don't get any more? I will tell you the status. I don't know how great I feel about either one because, guys, NIL and the transfer portal are like hand in glove, not OJ, but hand in glove. And a lot of these guys are going after the money. Availability and money. Guys, every school that's recruiting one of these two young men are telling them about playing time. They're not asking them not to come here because they don't need interior defensive tackles. A month ago, when we talked about the portal about to be open, our conversation really legitimately talked about, listen, I know you think it's going to be easy, in reference to going and getting some guys out of the portal. And you and I conversation was, guys, there's a lot of teams that since we've been breaking down on Ruffino and Joe show, there are a lot of teams that need interior defensive tackles. Texas, well, they were in the battle for Demonic Williams too. Oklahoma, well, they're in the battle for Demonic Williams too. Miami, well, Barrow is there now, and he might go to Florida State on another visit, but he's at Miami, and a lot of people at Miami at the current moment feel good about that situation. Let's see what happens. I want to see what happens before, okay, we make any ruling on this. I will tell you, though, if you don't get the two that you want, the world does not stop. You and I will continue to have conversations of what I think that they need to do. I don't think they need to be in 4 down lineman situations, many. I do think that Blake Baker, as an example, is going to have to paint things up to get guys to the quarterback in passing situations and being creative and stopping the run that we were going to call it. He's going to have to be the Bayou version of Leonardo da Vinci as an artist on drawing things up and how he stops things. I do think that he can do it. I actually do believe that he has the athletes to do that. But It's not over. I'm not going to react to it at the current moment. I can tell you what I think. I don't know. You do get in Gio Paez. It's a guy that we haven't talked about much. Was a rotational piece at Wisconsin. You do have a guy that you have brought in here. He may be or may not be. I do not know at the current moment. He may be, though, the guy that you roll with. This is not on Bo Davis, though, regardless of what happens, not solely. You can give him a lot of the praise because of the hurdles that he would have jumped to get some guys here. I don't think it's fair, however, to put it all off on him when this needed to be a full staff effort. I'm going to let you make your own opinions. And I'm sure you'll bring your opinions in here, and which I'm sure will be very validated. Very validated. I'm not going to say that they're not. I'm sure that they will. And I'm not going to disagree with you on them. But there have been a lot of really, really good teams that have had glaring weaknesses. Literally saw a team in Washington get to a national championship in doing that. What does that consist of, though? You got to out-scheme everybody. You're going to have to play as a team more than you've ever had. And everybody's got to do their assignments. You got to be one. Because teams have won national championships. Teams have won conferences. They've won the SEC. I mean, guys, you literally last year saw Alabama win the SEC with having an offense that for the first 6 to 7 weeks outside of the LSU game, where they were not good at all. So there are the light at the end of that tunnel is not bare, but there are a lot of hurdles that you have to overcome. So it seems like the demonic Williams situation has started to heat up even more. His camp is very vocal on Twitter. And I will be real with you, has been a smidgen bit of disrespectful. Not to LSU, but like they posted that picture of Eli Drinkwitz. Like, hey, you're going to go play for this guy? And it's, it's the not Bart Simpson. I don't even know the guy. It's kind of disrespectful. I don't care what Drink thinks of it or not. It's still disrespectful because nobody knows your context. So we'll see along the portal. Let me round this up in saying, I can't emphasize this enough at all. Cannot emphasize it. It's high school recruiting and transfer portal recruiting are two totally different beasts. I'll share with you a story very quickly. Okay. I know last year of a player that was on a visit to an SEC school. The player was committed to another school from the portal, but was on another visit. A national reporter tweeted that they had committed to another school while he was on another visit. Very prominent, too. Very prominent business. And then, coaches said, hey, is this true? And the player's like, what? Then one of the coaches who has a friend on the staff that he committed to, he picks up the phone and calls and says, hey, did so-and-so commit to you? Yeah, he's going home to get all of his stuff. He just committed to us last night. Coach, he's taking a visit with us right now. Wait, what? Different light years. If the school that he was taking that last visit to would have given him more money, he would have been at that school. It's a different world and a different beast. Keep the faith. I lied. This is the last thing because I was thinking about defensive schematics. I think you got to go to more of a 3-3-5 shade. I don't think that I think you're going to have to take a D lineman off and put a linebacker on or a safety on the field. I don't think I just don't think that you can run out there with 4 down linemen, especially in that interior, and think that schematically it's going to give you an advantage. This is the old school of thought. If you have a lot of skill player or skill, you can run more of a 3-3-5 because you can out-athlete people. When you have a D-line like Georgia, Michigan, Texas, you can go full brute force and have those big guys at the line of scrimmage where you win football games. The problem in going with that 3-3-5 falls down to you do not have a true nose tackle, someone that can anchor. Now, I do think Jacobian Guillory would not be a bad one for you, but I don't know how much of a traditional nose that he is. And I do think he would be serviceable enough to give you that. You're going to have to be very creative. Not only do you have a weakness, in my opinion, at the interior of the defensive line, when you do that and go to a 3-3-5, though, however, you are leaving your corners most of the time in one-on-one situations unless you're going to go complete zone blitz, overload, all these kinds of different things. But here's the truth. Blake Baker is going to have to be Picasso when it comes to how he orchestrates and artistically puts a defense together for you to be in a better situation than you were last year defensively. I do believe he can do that. I don't think that he is just going to sit on his hands like Matt House did. So there are some things you can do. But you're going to also need, because there will be situations that you will have to go down to 4D linemen. Now, this is, again, guys, it's my opinion. Coaches can disagree with me all the live long day. That's fine. I don't like it. I just don't like it. I love a 4-down D lineman. I don't care who, if you had both D ends standing up. If they are rushing and are true D linemen, I don't care if Savion Jones has his hand in the dirt or not. Guys, he's going to rush. The likelihood of a 275-pound man going out in the flattened coverage is not very likely. So again, do I think that you can do things? Yes. We'll see. All right, we do have some breaking news here. All right, Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports is reporting that per Yahoo Sports sources, new details on college model that may cost power schools $300 million each over the next 10 years. Scholarship expansion and new roster limits, $17 to $22 million a year of revenue share cap, $2.9 billion in damages done. They have to pay back former universities and players for not paying them revenue. A deadline of 40 days of payment, and implementation could come no later than the fall of 2025. So big news in the world of college sports as athletes are it's looking like not only does the NCAA they're going to have to do some back pay, but a college model that may pay power schools $300 million each over the next 10 years in revenue sharing. Football players are about to start getting paid. The NCAA is responsible for paying out that $2.9 billion in back damages over the next 10 years as well. So about 22%, says Dellinger, is what the TV revenue is going to be for college athletes. Guys, you can't, we're here. We're here. I will tell you the truth. Players are about to start getting paid this TV revenue. It's not going to stop NIL. It might help it a little bit because if a player is getting paid a lot of money, maybe he doesn't leave and go somewhere else. But let me tell you something that my dad and my grandfather, and both of my parents really used to teach me, and I'm sure that they taught you this too. If NIL is still a thing, it will be, and a school needs you to enter the transfer portal because they have a position that they really need, because revenue sharing doesn't stop anything. Like, this stops nothing. You know what else they should have added in there? Players must be with same team for 2 years before they can transfer. But that's not in there. If you're going to give them money and everybody's going to fall under some form of collective bargaining, let them sign on that dotted line saying that they have to be here for 2 years. But hold on, coaches. Hold on. You can't go cut kids in those 2 years either. Because if we find out that you're cutting kids, we're going to pop you. Oh, no. Here's the deep, dark truth that you truly know what's going on, and so do I. All of these coaches, every single one of them are lying through their watermelon teeth when they say that they hate NIL in the portal. The big boys love it. Do you really think that Texas, who was able to utilize NIL in a really good way, is really, really wanting NIL in the portal to stop when they can go and pluck players and pay players and get back to the playoff where they think that they belong? Because they fully believe that. Do you really think that they want to stop? Oh, what about Alabama? What about Georgia? Ohio State, Michigan, LSU? Do you think any of these teams want this to truly stop? Oregon? No, they don't. So even though that players are going to be paid TV revenue, and you're going to have, and as you and I have talked about a lot here, there's going to be non-revenue generating sports that are going to be cut because schools cannot keep up with them. And you know what? Title IX is going right out the window because a lot of the non-revenue generating sports is women's sports and men's sports. Not going to say it's not, but majority of women's sports do not make a profit. Guys, gymnastics doesn't make a profit. Women's golf, women's tennis. Actually, you know, what's funny is LSU's golf, men golf, wasn't that far off, believe it or not. As crazy as that sounds. It doesn't stop a damn thing. If you think that Demonic Williams or Simeon Barrow or whoever it would be, okay, is going to not go in the portal and teams aren't going to pay them and collectives aren't going to happening, guys, they haven't stopped that. They haven't stopped that at all. So what you want me to do? It's a shame, really. Such a shame. All right. Let's get to a quick break. During the break, everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share to all those groups, share to all those social media pages. Let me talk about our good friend John Patton over at GMFS Mortgage. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives. If you need a new home, buy it, or if you're buying or renovating, whatever you are doing, you need to get over to our good friend John Patton over at GMFS. 225-935-5100. You know who he is. MLS number 80735. Let him know that Blake sent you on by. All right. We'll be back in a minute. We got to talk some baseball stuff. Stay with us. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. By the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Whether you've been injured in an accident, you're preparing for a future with your estate planning, you're getting ready to close in on a real estate deal, or you're about to welcome a new addition through adoption into your family, or you're facing criminal charges, you need very experienced attorneys, and that is what the Drake Williams Law Firm will be able to do for you in navigating the legal system. The door to their cozy office in historic downtown Ponchatoula has been open since 1981. They have helped thousands and thousands of Louisiana families and individuals win cases, close on real estate deals, and regain that peace of mind. Their lawyers over at the Drake Williams Law Firm, Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, are very determined, compassionate, and dedicated to their craft. It's the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I closed out my entire notes. I always do that during the break for some stupid reason. I don't like writing things down all the time. I like typing them down. And sometimes I'll be clicking something off from the old notes and just completely 1,000% close it out like a dummy. All right. Let's talk about some baseball here before we close, or so we can close it out. LSU takes on number 1 Texas A&M this weekend, and I will tell you, man, this is, in my opinion, going to be a very, very, very good series. Now, I know what you're thinking. Blake, LSU is not doing well. They are kind of fighting for a lifeline, and that's the point. So you have the number 1 team in the country coming in versus what I will feel like is a team that might feel like a wounded dog, that they have no way out. Let me explain why I think that. Jay Johnson today said we have 10 more regular season games. We have 10 playoff games that we have to play. So what is he telling you? Jay completely knows. He knows what's going on. He's not being shy to the point. He's not pulling back. He's being very blunt. Well, you would expect that from Jay. That's how he always is. 10 games, 10 playoff games, and you need to win, not all of them. You need to win majority of them. You need to go 7-3. You need to go 7-3. Guys, if you go 7-3 in the next 10 games, you're going to be in a postseason. Blake, I don't know, man. If they go 7-3, that means that they're going to have to win every single series. You're right. They will. They will. But that would give them the 13 wins that they need. They got 6 right now. They need 7. 7 to get in. And even if you lose in the midweek, that doesn't matter. I'm giving you 7. So really, depending on how you look at it, you can go 5-5 technically, but you have to win every weekend. You need to go 7-3. You're too big of a brand when it comes to college baseball. You travel too well, and there's a lot of local ties that will help you. If you get to 13 wins, you're in. Doesn't matter what you need. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what you need in the SEC championship or SEC series, the championship series. It doesn't matter. I would almost bet, not saying I will, because anything can happen. I would almost bet my entire life savings that if you got to 13 wins, you're in. Way too many local ties. I mean, I shouldn't pull punches, guys. I mean, you can look this up for yourself. Just go look up who the president is of the baseball playoff committee. So, 7 wins, you're in. But you have a massive task ahead of you. Remember the guy that Jay Johnson was really, really going after in last year's transfer portal? I know that you do because you remember Braden Montgomery. Well, Braden Montgomery's absolutely going dumb at everything that he's doing at the plate. Hitting .365. He started all 45 games. In 170 at-bats, he scored 53 runs, 62 hits, 23 home runs with 73 RBIs. Guys, he's going off. We'll continue to talk about him. But look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2/3 of Texas A&M's roster is hitting well above 300 or right at 300. You have Chase Lavalette, who also has 23 home runs. It's a lot kind of like facing you a lot last year when you would have Dylan Cruz and you would have Tommy Tanks following him. 2 dudes with 23 home runs driving a lot of dudes when they're at the plate. You can't play around with them. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough to take 2 or 3 from them. You can do it. I do think that you have the talent. You could get 2 or 3 at home. We need a big crowd. We need the box to really show up to get us there. I don't know what it will be like, but the number 1 team's in town. By the way, they are not bad on the mound whatsoever. At all. Because Aschenbeck, Prager, Lampkin, Bowden, Rudis, they legitimately have dudes that are coming out of the pen and shutting guys out. Now, Tanner Jones, who's got 10 starts on the year, you could get to one of their starting pitchers. They have a lot of guys like Ryan Prager, who's going to start, and Justin Lampkin that will start, they're touchable. You could get to them. And you're going to have to get to them early because you need to go through that bullpen early. Sometimes when there is situations when you have 2 talented teams and one is a wounded dog. If you remember what happened to LSU last year against Mississippi State, when you kind of really need that series, Mississippi State came in here and took 2 from you. You need to do that now. I know that you just played Grambling. I know you beat the shit out of them. Please, dear Lord, let this be the confidence that gives this team the ability that they can go into this weekend and play lights out. You need great starts from Gage Jump. You need really good performances from Luke Holman and others. Go 7-3 and you're in. All right. Get to 7. That's all that you need, man. All you need. But you gotta go. You gotta win every weekend. If you lose 2 or 3 this weekend, you're not technically out, but you're gonna have to sweep somebody. So you are in as dire of a need that you've been in the entire season, literally. So let's go make it happen. We will be live tomorrow, by the way, too. We missed last week. I thought me going live would give them some luck. I've done a lot of superstitious stuff, and none of it's fucking worked. None of it. Greg says Texas A&M will be tough to take the series, and after barely beating Auburn 2 games, I just don't know if we can win 2 out of 3. I'm with you. I'm just trying to be positive. I want them to win these 2. I'm trying to be positive. Greg, don't let me be negative. Don't do it. Don't do it. I just wanted to be positive, man. That's all. That's all. All right. Oh, boy. Let's get out of here, man. We will see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good one. Good show. It's been a long week, man. I'm exhausted. T-ball has worn me out, bud. I got to tell you. By the way, we got some big news coming. Let me end the show with this. Got some big news coming. I appreciate all of you for sticking with us. We got some stuff rolling. Stay tuned with us. I appreciate all of you being here. We'll see y'all soon. Have a good one. Peace.